Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've got a nice looking rack, all bingo-y tiles, but with duplicates. So, is there a bingo here? Nothing's come to mind. I don't think there is. In which case, I'm thinking change just OE. And that stops opponent from playing a parallel play and providing no floaters. Now, if opponent plays, there will be floaters. If they change, surely this makes a bingo. And it does. Tonsure. Okay, great. Does it make anything else? Such a high probability rack. Only tonsure has come to mind. Gosh. No UN words that I can think of. 10 hours. TENOURS. And I think that's just the two bingos here. But there will be plenty of 8s through floaters, so I shall be very disappointed if I don't manage to bingo. Now, approaching the beginning of the month, so lots of new videos going up on Patreon. And welcome to all the people who have joined Patreon over the last month. So there's a mixture of crossword and Scrabble videos. And the Scrabble videos include a game against Hastybot, which is always amazing. And some blitz games. Now, opponent taking a while with this play. Are they about to bingo? Always great to be the first to bingo because it establishes a lead and incentivizes you to try and hold on to it. Great, opponent does change. So 10 hours or tonsure? I think 10 hours. It avoids vowels next to premium squares. Yeah, I am going with this. Not bad. Through an A, I would have C-wares. Through an R, I do have swearers. So, could I have back-to-back bingos? I played an S last turn and I've drawn 2 more, so a great start to the game. Sweaters through the T. What about the N? I have the Ness ending. Not seeing anything with the N. So, but I do have bingos with the T and the R, so it'll be disappointing if opponent plays a parallel play which takes out both of those. What about the S? No, not seeing anything there. So it's just the 2 8s I've seen. Not seeing a 7 with this rack. I've got the ware prefix, spelt 2 A's, W-A-R-E and E-A-R. With E-double-S, which isn't a great set of 3 tiles to go with a 4-letter suffix. Still looking at this N in case I have something through that. And I could have bingos through the vowels, but I haven't really looked at those. What about the U? That's in a double-double lane. Doesn't look propitious with a W. Okay, great. So, opponent leaves alone both of the floaters which I've seen bingos through and does not provide any new lanes that I need to consider. So the R is going to score more, the R bingo, because it will get doubled. Swearers, and that can play in 2 spots. But is there an anagram Is re-swears good? Well, I don't think there's much difference. Swearers for 72. Wow, another good rack through an I. I would have terminal. No I's played yet. Wow, no floating vowels on the board apart from this E, which has to be, well, it doesn't have to be in last place. A U takes an A and an R in front of the tiles on my rack. So, Lamenter. I have Lamenter in column 8. Wow, that will be triplicate back-to-back bingos. Great start to the game. And that also plays in row F because of the E of swearers. What else do I have? Anything with the T? No. What about the S? No, not seeing anything there. Opponent may be attracted to the W next to a double letter square if they have vowels, so could play in column 11. That would leave the E in column 8 available for my bingo. If I did have a bingo with an S, it would probably play because there are S's at both ends of swearers. But I haven't seen a bingo with that floater. I've got the man and men suffix. I would have rem nantal through the right pair of letters, but the only pairs on the board at the moment are NY and OU. OU not available for bingos beginning without. It's one square too low. And I'm not seeing anything. NY, not many bingos with that in the middle or at the end. So opponent, wow, already down to 14 minutes. Changed with their first play, and YU on the second. Has their rack matured into bingo territory? Row K, quite nice. It's a double lane for bingos ending in S. So if I have one of those, it's a big miss. But it hasn't come to mind so far. And opponent changes. Fantastic. So this is... which is the better spot for Lamenter? Well, this is purely on score. It's hitting triple letter squares. So Lamenter for 64. Wow, another great pick. I have Jollied on my rack. And that plays in row E and stays available. Wow, opponent does double-double. The alternative position of Lamenter would not have prevented that. So, do I have any alternatives to Jollied, and does Jollied play in any other places? At the moment, I can see it playing beginning at E1, which is going to put a J in column 1. So, if there is an alternative bingo, it will probably be better. And, wow, should I be bingoing? Because look at this, I can place my J above the A. I could play just JO for over 50 points and keep the blank. But let me think about, well, is it worth thinking about alternative bingos? Under what circumstances would a bingo be preferable to playing just JO? I don't think there is one, so regrettably, I think I'm going to stop the bingo run. I think that's worth playing the L as well. Although L does help this rack lead, it's not super amazing. is this. It's so painful. It's so good to have a run of bingos and to actually have one and then not play it. But one has to do the winningest thing. Do I keep the L? I think I will. This rack goes nicely with the S. I am going with Joe for 52. So I'm glad I kept the L. I've drawn only vowels. But there could be a bingo here. There's a floating S, and that's the only floating consonant. So let me squiz through the alphabet. Not a nice pick at all. So not seeing anything so far. And I'm looking for 7s and 8s through this S. This is the like suffix, but I'm not seeing anything there. So, sideline beginning with an S. I don't think that has an anagram. The S is taken out. 37 points for opponent. I'm going to carry on looking for 7s. What about with an S? No. Wheel deer onto an R, but there are no floaters at all, which is surprising with all these bingos on the board. No, I'm not seeing anything, and I've got no scoring tiles. So can I get value from the J? J-A-I is good. Ord is good. Just looking across here, I've got D-E-I. Maybe that's the play. What does that score? 21 points. Keeping a nice rack leave. And I've got an L for jail next turn. So I am going with this. Wow. All these great picks early on. I turned down the bingo, and I'm now being punished with vowel-heavy racks. And I've got all these I's, which could go under the Q. But I'm not seeing anything great. And not seeing anything great down from the I of Darioles either. My first thought with this rack was to play Kaylee, but I'm not seeing anywhere for that. Not seeing anything beginning with L. I don't have anything which goes after D-I. I certainly want to play off 2 I's. Wow, is it possible that this is a rack I should be changing with? Iliac is good as well. Oh, my E can go underneath DI, so I could play lie. 21 points. Really don't like that at all. 13 minutes on my clock, 12 on opponent. Opponent spent all that time early on, and now I've spent almost as much time. F-E-N-Y takes an N in the middle for future reference. Gosh, I thought I might have Iwi for a moment, and I don't. It's tricky changing here because I may well end up with a bingo that simply doesn't play. What about playing across from J-A-I? Although double I is not ideal, it's not the worst thing in the world. So I could play live for 15. Horrible rack leave. Wow, how this game has turned around, and my lead just over one bingo. Just wondering about playing just LI, holding back the E. Don't like that. I'm really struggling to see plays which use two I's. I'm going to change. And I will keep one I for QI. So, well, this is certainly a lot better rack. No bingos spring to mind. Oh, wow, fantastic bingo for opponent. And the G is a pretty blocky tile, and my lead only 30 points. Wow. And opponent's play hasn't opened up anything massive. So I'm looking for 7-letter bingos. I don't think there are any floaters to consider. Gosh, opponent must have been pleased to see me changing, but if I'd played LIE, they would have had serving in row O for even more. Some of these racks look jolly close, but I just have not seen a bingo. No. So what about these triple word squares? Div takes A, E, and I. I'm looking to see if I can play off the C and the Y in order to maximise score. Can't see a way of doing that onto the D, and the D does look the more valuable spot. None of my big tiles go underneath the I. What goes underneath the E? Only A, E, and L, which is quite a lot, I guess. So, ooh. What about Lycia? Is this good? If it is, I think this is the play. Something about it doesn't look right. And it's good. Fantastic. And this is another good-looking rack. Lamenta takes an S, so column 14 is available as a bingo lane. What does this make with an S? Condis and secondi, neither of which work. Neither of those work in rows M and O either, but the blank doesn't have to be an S lower down. And there's column 1 ending in L. So what's the best approach? Let me look for 7s first. Confide. C is a very awkward letter because the only 2-letter C word is CH, and C often appears at the beginning of bingos. Well, that doesn't really work with playing next to versing. Gosh, is coined good? Not sure. Hedonic. SH is good, doesn't play. Fortunately, I was going to say fortunately, as I can think on opponent's time, but opponent has now played and provided some new floaters. But let me finish this exercise, because if I have a bingo, especially in row O, it's likely to be best. Demonic. No. But I do have daemonic through the A, so I have a bingo. Wow. That looks like there should be something. That's the Secondi Condis rack, and there are no new 7-letter lanes created by opponent. Noticed. Deontic. Oh, my word. Oh, but wow. I think Deontic takes an S and there's a blank in the open, but Deontic is good. I think it has to be the play. Noticed, Deontic, and Catenoid. Well, that doesn't play. Dowsign also plays, but with the same demerit of taking an S. But this isn't terrible because I'm not creating a 9-timer lane. Okay, that's getting the putting the blank on the double letter square. So Dowsign is going to score more. Or is it 9 because the blank's underneath this G? That's 93. 91, so Dowsign is better. So I'm not creating a 9-timer lane. There are no S's out there. Dowsign only takes an S. There is a blank in the open. Opponent has got one shot to play a bingo ending in S or a big play ending in S, which could happen with the Z getting doubled. But if they don't take it, I will be shutting the door on that opportunity. So here we go. Dowsign for 93. And I draw the blank myself. Fantastic. What's opponent going to do about that? And this rack, not too shabby for 7 random tiles. I don't think there's a bingo here. Although I do have the OUS ending. If there is a bingo, it's low probability, but I have studied the low probability ones. Oh, an opponent resigns with 20 tiles left. That's a shame. And the final score, 261 to opponent, 412 to me, a winning margin of 151 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, what a game. Amazing start. And then opponent caught up. My turn to go fast. There was no bingo. I changed, and I like that. These are incredibly useful floaters to provide opponents, and the score is dismal. So opponent changes also, and now I have 10 hours for 66. Opponent's rack, no bingo, but close, plays YU. And I have swearers, and sweaters was the only alternative. Opponent changes from this rack, I guess changing the queue. And I have lamenter in 2 spots. Oh, wow. I thought I was playing it to score more because I was hitting triple letter squares, but of course I was missing out on the score from the Y. Now, opponent does get a bingo down, Dariol's double-double, and I have jollied for 83. And instead I go with Joe for 52. I think Joe is the right play. The difference in score is 30, but this rack leave is worth more than that. And jollied sticks a J in column 1, which opponent is going to score well off on a lot of occasions. So I like my play. Can't instantly see what opponent would have got from the J. It only needed to be 4 letters, so they could have played Jink, for example. Now, they play Kenaf. Phew, no missed bingo. L1 E-dial. That might have been worth doing. Creating 2 bingo lanes. I've got a blank, so I'm favourite to bingo, and I've got a good lead. What do? I play DEI, creating 1 bingo lane, which has to begin with L, and keeping a better rack leave. DEI probably better. Although I'm favourite to bingo, creating 2 bingo lanes also gives opponent the volatility that they need to catch me on the rare occasions that they do have good racks. So I think DEI the better play. Opponent with the cue plays it for 25. Now I have this horror show. N2 seal. I'm not sure I considered that. I think that does look better. What do I do? Yeah, that's certainly better than changing. And if I'd played CL, opponent would not have had serving. L doesn't take an E. Oh, and those are the only 2 bingos, so that was a missed opportunity. No bingo here, but I do have Lycia for 44, and I have a bingo's lead. The opponent plays a riot, and I get Dow sign down. I also saw Deontic. I didn't see... Well, I didn't really consider bingos through the R because row was better, but as you can see, there was Cornist. Dow sign also plays above versing, and other bingos available. And I think this is where opponent resigns. Yeah. So C2, they could have played Hex for 44, but they obviously didn't fancy their chances of winning the game, which is surprising because from their perspective, there's still a blank and a Z to come, and there are opportunities on the board. Anyway, opponent made their choice, and that concluded the game. So many thanks to opponent for a good battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.